Welcome to Conscious Profits Unfiltered. This is your host, Sebastian Nam.
What up, fam? Today I invited Caitlyn Chase to join me to chat about her inspirational journey from blog to lifestyle brand. Caitlyn has amassed a serious online following of luxury lifestyle lovers since the launch of her blog, Caviar Cashmere, in 2011. Those are the OG blogging days right there. The LA-based blogger turned entrepreneur began her career as a fashion and beauty writer for a nationally acclaimed publication at the age of 18. Caitlyn thrives on exploring the world of luxury lifestyle, sharing the things she discovers and loves with her writers, aiming to inspire them to lead a life well lived. She has appeared on TV, podcasts, panels, magazines, and newspapers as a trusted expert in the industry. Caitlyn launched her skincare line, setting out to solve the problem of confusion and complication in skincare. Her products have conscious ingredients and her operation supports local workers. In the show, we talked about her journey of how she turned her blog into a real-life physical product and a conscious luxury brand. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the show, Caitlyn.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. You know, I'm getting right into I'm going to ask you the first question I always ask my guests, which is, what was your last oh shit moment?
This morning.
I had a feeling. I don't know why, just like the way we came in.
Yeah, this morning was definitely my last oh shit moment. I feel like I have an oh shit moment every day, but I always turn it around and make it a positive. But it was definitely this morning.
You want to share it?
Oh, yeah, sure. I had a photo shoot this morning and I mixed up the call time. So I thought it was half an hour later than it was. And then they texted me and they said, hey, are you on your way? And I was half ready, but it worked. And I got there and I was still on time. Very punctual.
Perfect. I like that.
But I definitely had a no shit moment.
Definitely a no shit moment. I feel you. So Caitlyn, if somebody doesn't know you and they're just checking out, they just see your blog, they see your social media, they see a luxurious lifestyle, they can see a lot of things. Who is the real Caitlyn Chase? Like, what is she like? What does she do on a regular day?
Well, you met me last week, so why don't you tell me who you think is real? Well, I think that the people that know me and that are closest to me know that what I do for a living and everything that I put out is authentic, but it's not the 360 full picture of who I am as a person and what my day-to-day looks like. So of course, social media is pretty one-dimensional and there's a lot of dimensions to me. So I think the real me is I'm very driven and motivated, but at the same time, I'm goofy and fun and like to enjoy life and spontaneous and go with the flow, not so regimented, and I just like to enjoy myself.
I like that. That's awesome. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. And Caitlyn, what was your very first job that you ever had?
So my first job was when I was 18 and I was interning at a magazine. I always knew I wanted to do journalism. I started writing from a very, very young age. And so I got an internship at a magazine here in LA and I ended up getting offered a full-time position at the end of the summer. And so I had to make a decision of whether or not I was going to take this full-time position or continue on with my schooling. And I like to take on more than I can chew. So I decided, why not just do both? So I worked full time and I went to school full time.
Nice.
And that was my first job.
What was the magazine?
In Touch Weekly. So still around, a celebrity weekly magazine. And I was covering the beauty and fashion beat, reporting on celebrity fashion and beauty. And I was 18 years old and I was able to be on the red carpet at the Oscars and the Emmys and Golden Globes. And it was just such an incredible, crazy, crazy experience for an 18-year-old.
Cool experience. And then you started a blog pretty shortly after, right? It was 2011 when you started your blog. So
yes.
Was that soon after?
That was a couple years after. Yeah. I graduated university, I went to Pepperdine, and then I worked at several other magazines before starting my blog in 2011.
And what was that blog about?
So the blog is still around, and it's a luxury lifestyle blog focused mainly on fashion, beauty, and travel, a little bit of health and wellness as well. And I've been creating content now for 10 years, a decade, which is wild to me.
That's a long time, like blogs that have been around for 10 years. That's not common. Yeah, I mean, well, those are the OG blogs. Those are the ones that
I was going to say they call OG.
That's right. Those are the OG ones. But I think we were chatting. You told me you bought your domain name on Enom or something like that, right?
Yes. I feel like no one knows what Enom is anymore, but right. I bought it on Enom. Well, actually, my web developer bought it on Enom and hosted it on HostGator, which is still around as well. But no one knew what those were. I didn't have many options back then.
Yeah, and obviously being an SEO, I know you had a little SEO trick. I don't know if you want to share that SEO trick with us that you had back in the days. Get some backlinks going on.
What did you call black hat?
Black hat SEO.
You're wearing a black hat. Yes. So the magazine that I was writing for at the time, I was running their website, all of their web content, and they announced that they were filing for Chapter 11 and going out of business. And in the industry, they say closing the book. So I had a month to figure out what I was going to do. I was freaking out a little bit, but I knew I didn't really want to go to another magazine long term. I think print at the time was slowly on the decline. Digital was going up. So I wanted to create a digital presence that was on my own. So I started the blog and I started linking from the magazine's website, which had a tremendous amount of traffic, onto my blog, which I now know is called black hatting.
Well, first of all, it was really effing smart. It really was. What was black hat SEO now? That wasn't necessarily back then, So
as a pioneer.
Duplicated content and things like that. That's black hat SEO, but you were just being smart. You were a pioneer, like you said. I love it. And why? Tell us about the name.
So the name, I thought of the name. I came up with the name in the middle of the night, the same day that I decided I wanted to do a blog. And I knew that I wanted to do a luxury lifestyle niche. And I wanted to think of two things that automatically denoted luxury. So caviar and cashmere were the two favorite luxury items that I knew. And they also happen to be the same as my initials, CC. Caitlyn Chase, Caviar and Cashmere. And I never looked back. I scribbled it down on a notebook. I scribbled down the logo and just went for it. That's kind of the way that I've always been in my entire life, is just go with my first gut instinct and run with it.
I love that. Yeah, it's a really cool name.
Thank you.
It's right off the tongue. I've actually never tried caviar, to be honest. Isn't that weird?
What?
I know. I like salty. I feel like caviar is really salty, right?
It can be, yeah, depending on the type of caviar, but it's something everyone needs to try at least once. It's an acquired taste, I believe. At first, when I first tried it, I was pretty young. My father's side of the family is Russian, so it's a rite of passage to try caviar, and it's really salty and kind of fishy at first. I'm not selling caviar very well.
You're not. Were you wearing cashmere though?
Yeah, of course.
Got it. So that changes the experience.
Yeah, no. You have to wear cashmere while eating caviar. And you grow to love it. It's kind of like me. You grow to love me.
I love that. That's great. Had you ever compared yourself to caviar before?
No, that was the first.
There you go. First.
I wouldn't say that I'm salty though.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to differentiate there. Just certain aspects of that.
Yes, exactly.
I gotcha. Okay. You mentioned something last week. You said that you had a feeling that you always knew that the blog would turn into a physical product, or that your brand would turn into a physical product. What was this intuition that you had back then before all of, the success you had later on?
I kind of had the foresight to know that I didn't always just want a blog or a website. I knew I would always have it because my passion is writing, but I wanted to create a brand, more of a lifestyle, and have a physical product called by the same name. I just always knew it, and I was waiting for the right time to launch something. And I didn't want to be hasty about it. I didn't want to just do something to do something. I wanted it to make sense and for me to grow an audience and a following that would really resonate. And then I stumbled upon what I did.
Love that. And for a while then after you left that job, you were living off of like sponsored posts and things like that and guest blogging, right?
Yeah.
How important is it when you're getting paid to do sponsored posts or guest blogs and things like that to remain authentic in what you believe in and, you know, what you put out there? Because it's so easy to just get paid and just be like, I'm just going to put something out there that maybe doesn't resonate fully with me because I'm getting paid.
It's of utmost importance to me. It always has been. I never wanted to, quote, sell out. And I really wanted my content and whatever I put my name behind to mean something, and that for me to really like the product on my own. So I go through like rigorous testing. If it's a product that I need to try, I will try it for at least a month before I agree to work with them. And if it's something right off the bat that I know isn't on brand or something that I wouldn't use in my daily life, I say no. So I've left a lot of deals on the table. A lot of money has been left on the table, but I've kept my integrity. And that's what I plan to do, you know, and for my entire career, because the moment that I sell out, I lose my dignity.
That's super important. Yeah. I was going to ask you if you had left some juicy deals on the table. I
thought you were going to say, I was going to ask you if you left any dignity.
Dignity.
I have a shred left.
People are watching this are wondering what's going on behind all this. Anyway, so after that, you took a full-time position, at a company called Glam Squad. I wrote it down because I asked you like 3 times. But it's you during this job, though, you saw an opportunity, right? You saw a void.
Yes.
What was that?
So we'll take it back.
Hey guys, I just want to remind you, if you want to find more content like this, you can visit sebastiannaum.com. That's Sebastian, NAUM.com. You can also get a ton of other marketing resources from myself and my agencies, ranging from SEO to social media, influencer marketing, branding, web development, and more. Again, that's sebastiannaum.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the show.
I had the blog. I was mainly covering beauty, fashion, travel, and I had a great mentor. And at the time, she's behind some of the greatest startups. And she came to me and said, look, I know that you are working on the blog and you love it, but I have a great opportunity that I think you would love and you would be passionate about. And I would love for you to join the team. And it's a startup. It's a small team. I think I was employee number 10. And so I said yes, and the company was based out of New York. It's called Glam Squad, on-demand beauty services. So essentially Uber for hair, makeup, and nails. So you could get your hair, makeup, and nails done wherever you were. I loved the concept. I'm passionate about beauty. I love getting my hair, makeup, and nails done. So I was like, it's a fit. And I helped open the LA office and I helped run the marketing and the branding of the company, and I grew with it. I was there for 3 years alongside still running the blog. And so I had a lot of experience or opportunity, I should say, to do market research. And so I was being sent a bunch of beauty products for the blog to review and post on my social media. And then I was interfacing with a bunch of professional makeup artists with Glam Squad, and then interfacing with a lot of the Glam Squad clients. And I was feeling personally really overwhelmed with skincare. I would be sent so many PR boxes every single day, and I would open them up and there would be 10, 15, 20 products in them. And I was just feeling an incredible amount of overwhelm. And for someone that's pretty well versed in beauty, for me to feel that way, I was thinking, well, everyone must feel that way if I'm feeling that way and I know a lot about skincare. So I started a candid conversation with the Glam Squad clients, with the makeup artists, and then with my community. And everyone resoundingly felt the same way as I did. They were so confused, and they found skincare to be really complicated with these multi-step routines.
Yeah.
And these regimens that were being marketed for morning and night versus there was sometimes products for the afternoon. I'm like, who has time for products in the afternoon? So I started researching and speaking with a dermatologist that I had a great relationship with, and really digging in and just really like getting into the nuts and bolts of skincare. And I realized that a lot of the skincare on the market was just marketing. And all of these products essentially were repackaged and they were using the same ingredients, but marketed for morning and night, or to address one concern, but then you need another product to address a different concern, but they were all the same ingredients. So I thought to myself, I kind of had an aha moment and I said, I can do this better. I can streamline it, I can simplify it, and I can make sure that I formulate things that are straightforward, easy to use, and simple. So that's what I did. And I was able to formulate a line of only 3 products that can be used morning and night. And they address a variety of the most common skincare concerns.
Love that. It's so important to get inspiration when you're in another job or another business opportunity, to find a hole, right? To see a void. I think a lot of young entrepreneurs can get caught in just wanting the success, or just wanting a product, or just wanting a business. Yeah. And maybe they're like, I never want to have a regular job, or, but having, a regular quote unquote job can really give you the insight into a whole different, world. And you can see what things can be improved from, large scale corporations, or even a great startup like the one you were working for, and just seeing the voids and getting inspiration from there and taking that, running with that.
I don't think that I would have come up with the idea if I wasn't in the position that I was with the squad. So I am thankful that I had that opportunity. I learned a lot too about running a business. I also learned that I don't want to ever be in a corporate environment. Not that they weren't corporate when I first joined the team, but as you raise money and the team grows, and then we went from 10 to 65, and it was a completely different company by the end. And I realized that I was a lot more entrepreneurial than to be in a big corporation.
Yeah. And you needed that experience. So that was great.
Yeah.
How important is it to have, you mentioned a mentor. How important is that to you? Or was that? Yeah.
I think that having a mentor is really important. And I think that the relationship with a mentor can work in a variety of different ways. We had this discussion. I think you asked me if I had a sit down conversation and asked her if she would be my mentor. And it didn't really happen like that. We just had a relationship, a friendship, a rapport, and she gave me great advice. And she still, to this day, I can text and call her whenever I want if I have a question. And I consider her a mentor, but I never sat down and said, will you be my mentor? Yeah. Will you be my bridesmaid? But I have now people approaching me that want me to mentor them. And I think it's great that people are coming right out of the gates and just asking for that relationship too. So there's no right or wrong relationship to have with a mentor, but I do think it's really important to have someone to look up to and to learn from.
Do you get turned off if somebody comes in and just asks like, hey, can I pick your brain on something? Because I know that's like not really a phrase you want to say to people, but it can be tough sometimes because you want to help, you want to give advice, you want to give value, but you can also get bombarded, and you have to have that self-respect. And, there's a fine line sometimes, right?
There's a fine line. I'm a natural born giver, so I have a hard time turning people down, but I also know boundaries. Right. So I'm happy to have a conversation with someone, but I know how to say no when it's getting too much and it's taking too much of my time, or I feel that they are taking advantage of my time or not respecting it. Sure. So I'm always open to a conversation. I love providing value, but there is a very fine line between me saying, okay, I think this has been enough.
Yeah, totally. So Caitlyn, let's talk about the product. When I started researching your product, one of the reasons I reached out to you that I found fitting to the podcast and to what I believe in, into conscious business, into profit and purpose, is that I saw from the get-go was you had conscious ingredients. Yeah. So, tell us about these ingredients and why you chose them.
So I started formulating, and I had the notion that since I got the idea from speaking with other people, I wanted these other people to work as my focus group in my market research. So I started asking a lot of questions, mainly on my social media, because at that time I had built up the audience, and on the blog, a big readership. So sending out email blasts, doing polls on Instagram stories, and really finding out what people wanted in their skincare in terms of ingredients and results. So I came to the conclusion that a lot of people wanted clean, non-toxic skincare. And I myself really appreciate and value beauty products that are non-toxic. I mean, our skin is the biggest organ on our body, and we absorb everything that we put onto it. So I believe that we should be more conscious about what we're putting in and on our bodies. And my concern was that it was going to be difficult to find effective ingredients that were also non-toxic and clean. So I went through a lot of different formulations. I tested with a lot of different labs, and I was able to find a really great lab that had ingredients that were not only clean, but they were also clinical. So clinical meaning medical grade. And that's when I found the jackpot. And I felt very, very fortunate because I knew I wanted the products to be made here in the States. I said, even better if they're in California, even better if they're in Los Angeles. And it just was kismet that I found this lab that's located right outside of LA. I'm helping the local economy, and they made exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. So what makes your ingredients, what would make them conscious ingredients? Like, are we talking, cruelty free? Are they vegan? And what's going on with that?
Yes. So alongside being non-toxic, they are also vegan, and they are cruelty-free. So never tested on animals. They are tested in a lab in vitro and with small studies of human participants, and that, of course, are willing participants. And and all of the ingredients are vegan, so no animal byproducts are used.
Great. And you mentioned something about being important too, that it's, LA based, supporting the local economy. And you mentioned too, when we were chatting about, in the manufacturing, in the facility, workers are paid well as well.
Yeah.
How do you see, you haven't seen the other side of that necessarily maybe, but do you see that, portrayed through when you visit your facility, when you see the workers? Like, do you feel that people are more effective or just happier working in a company like that?
Of course. Yeah. I think that the quality of the product starts before the product is even being made. So it really takes a village, a lot of people to make a physical product, especially skincare. And I truly believe that the product is made with love. And because we have ethical practices and the people in our facilities, whether it's the shipping and fulfillment down to the lab, the chemists, everyone is happy and in a great working environment. And I think that it shows in the products and then on the customer's face as well.
Yeah, that's huge. I think it totally carries through. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And naturally, I have to ask you too about your customers. What about everything that we just talked about? Conscious ingredients, workers paid well, happy, all that authentic brand. Do you see that through in the reviews? Do people do you hear about it in general? Here's let me rephrase that question. So what I'm seeing a lot is conscious consumerism is increasing, right? So are consumers voicing to you that they really resonate with your product because it has conscious ingredients, or resonate with you because it is a local LA brand supporting the economy and things like that?
Yeah, I think the answer is twofold. I think that it resonates with people because it's a small business, especially last year during COVID. There was I'm so grateful for a shift of focusing on supporting small businesses, and then on top of it, female owned. So I am really grateful for the support and people rallying around behind the brand and realizing. And I think that part of it is, from the outside looking in, it could look like a huge brand. But at the end of the day, I've been so authentic and transparent about how small the team is and how this is, started literally in my living room and has grown. But I think a huge part of it is messaging to the customer and really having interface and being able to share the story and share the journey with them, and then realize it's really truly at the end of the day just me, and I'm a small business.
Yeah. Brand story is so important, especially for conscious brands. Customers and consumers can really connect. And that's what, basically ends up educating them and deciding whether they want to purchase a product, support or not support.
And I love connecting with the customers. I'm very fortunate that we have great reviews, 5 stars across the board, and people are happy to review because they love the product. And the most important thing to me is that they keep coming back. So with skincare, there's just so much of it on the market that you could easily not have brand loyalty, but people are really, really true to this brand. And it makes me so happy and grateful that people keep returning.
That's awesome. I think I want to try some out for myself.
Yes, honestly.
I was going to ask you, is this, obviously such a women-focused industry, but it's growing for men. I think that it's more okay, quote unquote, for guys to talk about that they have a skincare routine, for example.
Oh my God. I mean, I wouldn't date someone that doesn't have a skincare routine. No, it's the stigma, I think, is dissipating for sure, and men and women are focusing more on their skincare, and men love the products that they are unisex, so they can be used by both male and female. However, I think that the way that men are being introduced to it is kind of like backdoor. They will see the products on their wife or girlfriend or partner's counter and try to use them and then fall in love. So I've gotten the most hilarious emails from girls saying, my boyfriend's stealing all my products, so I need to re-up, and he's used all of my cleanser now, so I need a refill. And it makes me so happy. And I have a good amount of male customers now, and
I love that.
I love it.
That's really cool. Do you do refills?
No, I mean, by refills, I mean just a reorder.
Got it. I was just curious. Got it. Yeah. That's cool. So what do you say to a girl that's listening who has an important following, maybe on our blog or social media, and is making that decision of potentially starting a product or creating a product? Is there any advice that you can give that maybe, you would have liked to know and, beforehand? Because honestly, from your journey, it sounds like it was such a carefully thought out journey. Like, you didn't just go launch yourself into something. You had some good product research. I feel like you really took the right steps and helped you. You had the chance to talk to people about the product beforehand and kind of that product research aspect. So are there any tips that you would give to someone out there trying to do the same thing?
I think there's a fine line. I think it's really important to do your research, but also not wait until it's perfect, because it's never going to be perfect. And if you wait until the quote right time, there will never be a right time. You will never feel fully ready. So I think there's a really good balance that you should prepare and research, but also not hold until it's too late, because you're really going to regret if you spend way too much time in the preparation phase. So I think there's a balance. The other piece of advice that I would give is, if you plan to self-fund, which I did, is make sure that you have enough savings to move forward and focus on this full time, because I believe that I wouldn't have gotten to where I am today if I had to have stayed at my corporate job, because I put my heart and soul and 14, 15, 16 hours per day pre-launch on this, and I wouldn't have been able to do that with a full-time job. Yeah. So having a cushion was really important, because again, you're not going to start making money the first month, 2 months. I mean, it's going to be sometimes a long road.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's some good advice. Caitlyn, I want to congratulate you on all of your success that you've had on something that started with a passion, with a blog in 2011, into an actual physical, tangible, conscious product that's now in Macy's. You can buy it on Macy's.com. And of course, we'd rather buy it on your website directly, obviously. But you are clearly a conscious leader. What do you believe are the two most important traits that a conscious leader must embody?
Two traits that I think a conscious leader needs to embody is authenticity and passion.
Authenticity and passion. Well, you definitely have both of those. So congrats on the success, Caitlyn. And where can people find you?
So on my blog is caviarandcashmere.com. The e-commerce site is shopcaviarandcashmere.com. And then my personal Instagram, which all of my blog content lives on, is my name at Caitlyn Chase. And then the skincare is at Caviar and Cashmere. Everything is linked together. So you can find one, you find all.
Yeah. With the black hat links. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for being on, Caitlyn. It was wonderful chatting
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much, and keep doing you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. You know, it takes a lot to put these things together, but I truly love doing it. If you enjoyed this episode or the show in general, and you listen to it on audio podcast, please take some time to give it a review. It would really mean a lot to me. And if you watch the video, please go ahead and just click subscribe and share it with somebody that you think would like it. It would really mean the world to me, and it helps keep the show alive. Visit sebastiannaum.com for more content, and follow me on Instagram at sebnaum. That's SEBNAUM. Thanks again for spending your time with me. I know it is valuable. I hope you have a great rest of the day and week. Till next time.